So, our first conversation today is based on the pockets of protests that are currently happening in Nigeria, in the inner cities to be precise. While those protests aren't serious, for some reason, they've piqued my curiosity because the people who are protesting are those who actually voted for the current administration. The question that has been going through my mind with each of these videos that I see is, didn't you know? So when you saw the three major candidates during campaign share their ideas of what they were going to do for the country, couldn't you tell? Now it's very possible that they didn't know because we all know that politicians politicians have a way of saying everything that you want to hear. Since I saw these videos, I've been thinking, if in Africa most people, especially in the rural areas, are ignorant, can we trust them with their large numbers to vote right? Because no matter what you do, their votes are as good as yours. Their votes count as well as yours, which is why it's important not to ignore these people. They have the numbers, and whichever decision or direction they decide to vote is what is going to affect the whole country. It's going to affect you, even if you wanted a different government. How can we fix this? How can we get Nigeria, and not just Nigeria, the whole of Africa, to a position where the people who vote are aware of why they are casting their votes? Not because of tribal sentiment, but they are casting their votes in a particular direction because they have thought through it and they have decided that this candidate is right based on so and so and so things that were said. How can we get Africa to that position? I think the best way we can go about this is to educate those in the grassroots, in the rural areas, about the consequences of elections. Many people approach elections like, oh yeah, let's just vote and get on with it. But that's a wrong approach. Someone once said, I can't remember who, but I read it in a book. The person correctly said that you may not care about politics, but politics cares about you. I didn't put much attention to politics until 2022, and I cannot imagine the many years I stayed away. How the decisions of these leaders who come into office, whether duly elected or rigging their way in, or the people who come into office, how their decisions affect my life. You'll be surprised. Your money, the money that you spend, the schools you take your children to, your health, everything borders on these people's decisions. I'm saying this because of the people in the rural areas. A lot of young people in the rural areas across Africa who are hungry. And so a politician tells them, come, I need you to do something for me. And they pay them to snatch ballot boxes, to burn ballot boxes, to cause mayhem and havoc around the polling units just so they can wriggle their way into power. And these young, able bodied people, they say, okay, maybe the politician pays them in Nigerian currency now. Maybe the politician pays them 50,000, or if they are being nice, 100,000. These people will not think through that after so and so minutes or after certain several months, this money will finish, and then I am stuck with this bad decision that I made. And not just me stuck, the whole country is stuck, or the whole state or the whole local government is stuck with this bad decision that I made. And that's why I think that one of the most important things that we can do in Africa now is to enlighten the people in the rural areas about the consequences of elections. Elections is not just choosing your guy or your village person or the guy that you like the way his clothes looks. Election is not just about bringing those people into power. Elections is about choosing your future, and not just your future, the future of your children. So if we take time to teach these people about the consequences of elections, I think that it will change. A lot of things will begin to change. The idea is to show them how politics, how governance affects their lives. And this is not going to be, sponsored by any political party. And we're not telling them to vote this particular person or this particular party. It's just well meaning Nigerians, well meaning Ghanaians, well meaning South Africans, well meaning Egyptians going to the grassroots, going to the people, going to the rural areas, and enlightening and educating these people what government, what politics actually means and how it affects their lives. Because this is one of the most crucial decisions we can make to transform Africa. Now, I know that if you ask, oh, what is the problem with Africa today? The general consensus is we have bad leaders. I agree. The idea is until we change the leaders, we can't change the continent and we can't change the countries. But I don't completely subscribe to that line of thought because we seem to forget that the leaders are a mirror of the character of the nation. You may not want to hear this, but it's the truth. Because those who are in office were pulled out from the people, from among the people. They were you know their villages in your country. You know where they are from. So they are not outsiders. It's not some Brazilian who is suddenly the president of Rwanda. No. The person who is president of Rwanda is from Rwanda. He was taken from among the people. And that's why I believe that if you want to change the continent, if you want to change the country, if you really want to change the government, you begin by changing the people. And how do you change the people? You can start in the grassroots. You can start in the grassroots. Show them what government is. Because even our current leaders, in most African countries, they don't know what government means. They don't know what leadership means. Why? Because the people don't know it. The people don't know it. It's not rocket science. The people don't know it. So the most important thing we can do now is let us gather ourselves. You in your own country, in your own little way. We need to gather ourselves and begin to educate those in the rural areas so that they make the right decisions. They don't have to vote like you, but they should be able to think through their votes. Why am I voting this person? What are the consequences that will arise as a result of bringing this person into power? Once we enlighten these people, those who sit down in the house and say they are not going to vote, they understand that there are repercussions for their actions. Those who lend themselves to chaos, they understand that once they get into office, you would live with the repercussions of that decision. Because right now, for example, in Nigeria, the price of fuel has gone up. The price of food has gone up. The price of everything has gone up. And the people who are paying it, it's not just a select group or a select tribe, it's everybody. When everyone in the country understands that we are in this together, then we can begin to change our respective countries.